That's the first thing. But hold on, let me start. Okay, come on. Good morning, guys. Welcome, Shawn Harvey Morning Show. Wake up team with the Queen SennyJ and the Queen Miss Miko. Only place on earth where you get your morning started right. The chat room is wide open. Or you can call in the numbers 570-982-6950. Broadcasting live on all social media platforms. You know the deal. Uh, uh, if you need to call in, like I just said, the number is 570-982-6950. Please like, share, follow, subscribe to the Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring the Wake Up Team. Uh, this is where you get your morning love, but most importantly, it's the only place on earth where you get your morning start. Right? Hold on, Tony. I want to say something real quick. Before we start the show, uh, we need to just talk about that P. Diddy situation one real quick, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. Come here. Come here. Hold on, Tony. Come here. We're going to get into that P. Diddy situation in a minute. But I got our beloved on the phone. And this is a show actually right now in real time. I'm trying to save a relationship with a friend who I love, who I adore. But last night we got into a heavy disagreement. And we're going to hear both sides of the story. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And y'all already know I'm a grown ass man. If I did something wrong, I'm going to admit that I did something wrong. I'm not self-righteous, but I am telling you right now, before we start, I'm on this show this morning, Feel Good Friday, and I can't stay long because I got to travel. I'm here to save a relationship if possible, and I hope I can. Everybody, she's one of our fan favorites. This is a chick that we all love on the show. It's undeniable, and we've loved her for the last couple of years, and people on this show follow her. Let's give a round of applause to the one and only Tony Bird. Tony, Tony, say something real quick. I just want to make sure everybody can hear you.
All right. What's going on?
All right. Now, Tony's online, and we appreciate Tony. I'm for sure everybody can hear. Before we get into what happened last night at the club, I want to say this. I've known Tony Bird a long time. I'm gonna say over 10 years. I've known Tony since she came in the game. Tony, how long you been in the comedy game?
This month makes 13 years.
Okay, so
I was gonna say that.
Okay, so I've known Tony Bird for 13 years, and I've seen Tony Bird come into the game and develop into a hilarious comedian who, on any given night, will bust your ass. I don't care. I don't care what comedian you are. If Tony catches fire, it's a wrap. It's going to be a problem. But I've seen Tony when she started, when she developed, when she walked into the room, didn't have no sense of what was going on, and then have that progression of comedy throughout the years where she now is a certified hilarious comedian. Okay. And if you know Tony Bird, you know what it is. And then there's another side of Tony where we've gotten personal and we've known each other and we know each other. We talked on a personal level. And throughout the years, Tony and I had our disagreements. And that's facts. And Tony and I, we've always been in a good place. Tony is a house head. If y'all know Tony's a house head. You'll see her videos. And on several occasions, just recently, I've met Tony in Jersey to sit down and listen to some house music. So I just want to say that first. I want to let you know that this is not no relationship that just comes and goes. Now, Tony, I want to say this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, last night, and I'm not even going to talk. I'm gonna just listen. Last night, there was an incident that happened at the club and welcome to the show, guys. Only place on earth where you get your morning started, right? Where I left. It took me damn near 3 hours to get home. And in those 3 hours, I was very concerned about my relationship with my friend Tony because of what happened at the club last night. And Tony's been gracious enough. We're gonna air this out right here on the show. And it's just important for me to sit down and listen. So Tony, I'm not gonna say a word. What the hell? Welcome to the show, guys. What the hell happened last night, Tony? I ain't gonna say
What
it.
happened?
What the
You,
hell happened last night?
Sean, you a shit starter. That's what happened. You a shit starter. You wanna, I, you know, I don't even know what to say, bro. I really don't know what to say. I'm
Okay,
at this point.
let me let people know what happened here. You already called me a shit star, right? So I'm gonna just let you guys know what happened. We did a comedy show in Queens, New York at Truth Lounge last night, which is an every Thursday room, which is hosted and produced by the New York King Talent. And Talent who has allowed a majority of us to work in that particular room every Wednesday, every Thursday night because his schedule is so hectic. Sometimes he just can't make it. So he has me and a few others host the room, which I'm truly grateful for, and I appreciate him for that. But the DJ K Swift is his left hand, right hand man who runs everything behind the scenes. Right? And that's facts. Where K gives me the lineup, K tells me what time we start, what time we end. He pays us. He runs the event while the King's not there. And K Swift is truly respected in the game as a DJ, as a person, and he's one of the top comedy DJs in New York City. That's a big deal. And we all love K Swift. So K is the guy. I walked in the room. K gave me the list of comedians, how much time they have to do, and that whole situation. Marcy Smiles is the co-host of the show, and I host the room. So it's a well-oiled machine. And special shout out to Truth and the staff over there for allowing us to do the comedy show there each and every Thursday. The show starts around 10 o'clock. It's over at midnight because they start partying. So just want to let you give you that. So last night at the show, all the comedians were there. We were there pretty early. Tony was there at 9 o'clock. I didn't even see her in the car. I pulled up about 9:30. I was in the car for a few minutes fixing my face before I walked into the room. I get to the room. Dylan Tucker from Delaware. He drove all the way from Delaware. He's in the room. And Fidel Holloway walked in. So we were all there. And there was a few folks in the audience members were there. And then as people, good morning, everybody. As people started walking in, Kay gave me the lineup, and that was the show. But while the show's going on, other comedians walked in. And some comedians get a guest spot, meaning it's not a paid spot, but they want to do a few minutes on stage. Am I right? So Tony, am I sure? Okay, I just want to make sure because I'm trying to save this relationship with this woman right here that I love. And right now it's a fractured relationship, but we're going to see if we can talk this out, and I hope we can. Now, while the show was going on, everybody started coming into the room in Truth Lounge. Now, all of a sudden, it starts to fill up. Now, the show is starting. Okay, Marcy Smiles, a newer comedian who's funny as hell, and she's going to have great potential. She starts to show up. She's the co-host, and then she calls me up, and then I host the room and do whatever I do. I'm telling my jokes and being, interacting with the crowd, and I'm calling up the comedians. Now, here's the lineup. The lineup was Pernell Holloway, right? I just want to get the story right way. The lineup was Pernell Holloway, Dylan Tucker. Pernell is from Queens. He lived right around the corner. Dylan Tucker from Delaware. Tony Berg from Jersey. B of Brooklyn, New York. Tony's a Brooklyn, New York. She's in Brooklyn all the way, but she lives in Jersey. And Tony, by the way, came. She had somebody with her, and it was a good look for comedy.
You know what? Stupid.
It was a good look. It was a good look for comedy.
It was a good look for comedy.
It was a good look for comedy.
Oh my God.
And then in the middle of the show, some of the other comedians started coming through, some of the veteran comedians. And by the way, it was one of the comedians' birthday, right? And a third comedian walked in by the name of Young Tef. Young Tef and Tony Bird are beefing with each other. I mean, serious beef, and it's comedy beef. I don't think it's nothing, but now it's personal, but it's comedy beef over particular jokes. Case Swift, who runs the room, right, gave a guest spot to Young Tef. Now the guest spot goes on before.
But that's not what he said. When I asked him, he said he don't care. He didn't care because I asked him.
Oh, let me finish. Let me finish. I'm gonna just. I just want to get the timeline. Then you can just go there and I'm gonna listen. And then, Young Tef was gonna go on before Tony Bird, and Tony Bird totally disagreed with Young Tef going on. And why? I tell you why. Young Tef is a younger version. I'm not gonna say younger version of Tony Bird. Young Tef is a younger stud. Tony's an old school stud, right? It's stud, right? I just want to make sure I'm saying the right terminology, right? Stud, right? So Tony is an old school stud, and Tiff is young. She's a young. Tiff gotta be the one 30 years old. They have almost the same mannerisms. They have some of the same subject matters for obvious reasons, right? That's what they go on stage and that's their cachet, and it's all good. Tony really had a problem with her going on before her because the problem was Tony said throughout the years or whatever, she's stealing her jokes. And stealing jokes is serious in the comedy community. We all know that as comedians because, some of us, this is our bread and butter. And if it's not our bread and butter, it's a dope side hustle or whatever. But the last thing we want is somebody to steal our jokes. So Tony said that the Young Tef was stealing her jokes. So I said, all right, cool. Tony, let her get the guest spot. And then you do your thing. Tony was bent out of shape about it. But guess what happened? When I got on stage, I called up Young Tef to go on stage before Tony, even though Tony was really uncomfortable about this. And Tony was shared. So I just want to get the timeline, and then I'm going to shut up. When I called Young Tef on stage, she wasn't there. She wasn't in the room. So I immediately called up the headliner, Tony. Tony gets on stage, and Tony took her frustration and what we talked about on the side of the room, she took it onto the stage. She took it onto the stage and let everyone know how she felt about this other comedian stealing jokes. Right? Right? So that shocked all of us. Now the audience member don't even know. The audience don't even know what's going on. The audience don't know what's going on. So Tony got on stage. She was flustered. She was confused. And for my opinion, and she couldn't focus on the joke. Now, guess what? Where I made my mistake is, and where Case with, we allowed the other young lady to go on after Tony. She went on after Tony, started berating Tony and talking. She was talking mess, talking shit like Tony was. So you got two. You got the older stud and the younger stud going at it. And at the end of the show, then everyone wants to go outside and have a confrontation, and they almost went blow to blows to a fighting. We broke all of that up. Tony got in the car. The person she was with was traumatized. And
no, she wasn't. She was ready to fight. See, that's the thing.
I'm done. Go ahead, your turn.
I mean, you did the whole timeline and shit like that, right? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm not. If I would have had a fight, I would have went to jail last night, bro. I come out the club and she's like, "Yo, put the bag down. I don't want to snuff you." I'm gonna come for somebody. I'm gonna come for them regardless. You know what I'm saying? I'm lost for words, man. I'm gonna stick up for myself though, and I felt like once I said to you, "Nah, man, what she need to do a guest spot for? She just got here." And now we already got the same subject matters. So now she gonna go before me, and now I gotta come behind her. Nah, that's when you over here stealing my jokes. You running around stealing my shit, and I'm supposed to be comfortable with that shit. Now you want to get up on stage and talk all this old shit. That's why I wasn't out there, because I know me. She would have been talking her shit like she did. We got the whole shit taped. I got the whole shit on tape. I got her shit on tape. I got my shit on tape. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, now you're going to learn today. You're not going to keep doing my shit and then want to come in front of me and think you're going to do some shit in front of me. Nah, man, not if I'm headlining a show. Now, I could see if I was just the feature act or whatever the case might be, but nah, man, fuck that. She not doing that shit, yo. Y'all won't let me do that to y'all. I can't do that to y'all, Shawn.
Okay, first of all,
you never respected nothing I said to you. You just was like not even hearing me. And then when you did call her up and she didn't come, that should have been the end of it right there.
First of all, guys, can you put a number in chat room if you hear this conversation? Put a number in studio. And you know what? You're right. That part, you're right, because that bothered me. When Young Tef wasn't in the room and I called her on stage and she wasn't there and I called you up, that should have been the end of the show. I do take responsibility in that. But Tony, hear me out. And like I said, I want to save this relationship with you for real.
You said,
but Tony, hear me out.
There's no way you could make this right, Shawn.
Tony,
because I explained to you fully. You threw my whole game off yesterday with that bullshit.
Tony,
to me, I would have never did no shit like that to you. If I came up to you and I said, hey, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know you was put on a guest spot. And then I asked Cherry and I said, you don't want to go up? It's your birthday. Oh, I went up. Then I asked Baba Feeney, oh, you didn't want to do no time? Oh, no, I would have did a couple of minutes. There was other people that was there way before Tef came in. So to me, it's like a setup. Like, okay, I'm gonna put her up in front of her, and then let's see if Tony Bird gonna come behind that, and this, that, and that's games to me.
Okay, so
that don't make sense.
Okay, so you see where the challenge is, guys. You see what the challenge is. We have two studs. We got Tony and we got Young Tef. Tony,
who's running around stealing my fucking jokes.
Now, I said this to Tony, and Tony, please, I know you don't believe me, but I was hearing everything that you were saying. My whole thing I was saying to you was, Tony, don't allow this to get into your head where it affects your performance. I said to you,
in my head.
I said to you, but Tony, listen, you, if first of all, if this was my show, maybe it would have been ran different, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. But Tony, anybody could come into the room, and on some of these shows, the lineup is subject to change. You don't know who's going to go on. Tony, I've been in that situation where I've had to perform after comedians that did my similar act, not as far as still the joke. I understand that.
Sure, that's not even a point. I've done that too before. That's not even a point, and that's why I keep saying you're missing the point. Out of all the people that was there, why did Young Tef get the guest spot, bro? Who wasn't even there the whole time? Like, nah, that's not how that go.
And the thing is, how that go. No, and I hear you. Sometimes, even with shows, guys, as performers, we don't have that control over the lineup or what happens. You're absolutely right. I would feel a certain way. I would feel a certain way if a comic was doing my same similar act and they went on before me. But Tony, my question to you is this: you still went on before her. You still went on. Hear me out. You still went on before her. So my question to you is, Tony, why you just didn't destroy the room and do your jokes? Because the people didn't. They don't know what's going on.
It had nothing to do. See,
I mean, I'm just asking a question.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. All of that happened, right? Just right there, and in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So now, all my mind is on is how the audacity of this chick, yo. The audacity that you gonna come to this show that I'm headlining to want to do a guest spot. I don't even know what time she pulled up in a building. My thing, Shawn, is that there was so many other comedians. If you already got a gay chick on the fucking show, what's the sense of having her do a 5-minute guest spot?
Tony,
It didn't make sense to me.
Tony, you
that
can't
didn't make sense.
But Tony, you can't exclude sexuality.
I'm not excluding.
Yes, you are. You can't exclude sexuality from the job.
You turning it around.
So
you turning it.
Tony, there's a bunch of do I not put all the heterosexual comedians on stage or not?
You missing a point. You missing a point. I've done shows. I've booked Young Tef, so that's not that. I'm not worried about Young Tef. What I'm talking about is you doing my shit.
Tony,
you doing my shit. You know how many people call me to tell me about Young Tef, bro?
So let me ask you this question: since she was there last night.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He skipped the line. They skipped that. Whether she was there last night or not, you had 2 other people in the building that you could have gave a guest spot to. Why was it Young Tef?
First of all, Tony, well, like I said, K Swift made that decision. She said, you know,
K Swift, that's not true because I asked K Swift, bro. I went right behind you and I asked K Swift, and he said, no, I don't care who goes up. You understand what I'm saying?
And Tony, why would you? Tony, why would you care who went up on stage? Why did it bother you so? And let me say something. If she was, if she stole your jokes, Tony, why didn't you at least confront her? Like, you know, hear me out. Why? You could have just walked over to her, or both of y'all could have just mutually said, listen, let's have a conversation. I hear that you're doing my jokes, blah, 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 and just start from that point. Why you just didn't have a conversation with her?
Check this out, Shawn, right? When I have a conversation with people, it will always go left. Niggas want to fight. Now it's this, now it's that. And I don't have time for that shit, because if I put my hands on somebody, it's going to be a problem. And I have too much to lose. See, some motherfuckers don't realize what you have. I have too much to lose. I don't have time to be in no police thing. I don't have time to get locked up. I don't have time for that shit, spend my money going back and forth to court behind motherfuckers. I told you what the problem was. I told you this girl been doing my shit. I'm not confronting nothing. I haven't confronted. She know what the fuck she doing.
Yo, Tony, if a comedian, and welcome to the show, guys. We ain't staying long because I got to travel. Tony, if a comedian is doing my joke verbatim and doing my joke, I'm going to have a conversation with the comedian.
Well, guess what? We had one last night. Yeah. So now she know. We had a whole conversation last night. You know what I'm saying? You want to come out and act like, you know what I'm saying? Now you want to fight. Oh, put the bag down. Put the bag down. You know what I'm saying? Now you're doing too much. You out here. That shit don't look good at all, Shawn.
No, it didn't.
That don't look good.
It didn't look good at all.
You was being very messy. That's what the fuck you was doing, Shawn. You was being very messy.
Not being messy.
Yes, you was. Yes, you was, Shawn.
I was
yes,
not.
You was.
I was
yes,
not.
You was.
People in the chat room were saying I was being messy. I was not being messy. Tony, on some real shit, you are a professional comedian. You let this chick get in your head the moment that she walks through the door. No, Tony, no. Hear me out, Tony. If this was a production, say this was a production. Say this was some BET shit. But just hear me out. Hear me out. But hear me out, Tony. Tony, hear me out. What if this was a production? What if this was a film, a comedy show? You think that, Tony, so you're not going to go on after a comedian that had your same, you're talking about the same subject matter?
That's not what I'm saying.
And I asked you, what did I say? I said to you, Tony.
We ain't talking about the same subject matter. You're using my fucking jokes. That's different.
What joke is she using?
It don't matter, Shawn.
What joke is she using, though, Tony?
I gotta tell you what jokes. You know what the fuck she using. You out here in these streets. Tony. You get the word. You know what's going on, Shawn. Come on, stop playing stupid now.
I'm not playing stupid. Tony, what joke did you tell? I don't know. What joke is it? What joke is it?
Nah, man. I'm not going to engage because, Shawn, you was messy.
I was not messy. You had a job to do, Tony. You had a job to do, and Tony, you still. So then, Tony, why did you let it bother you on stage? I know you asked me. So you can't allow shit like this to bother you. You got a job to do. You gotta close out the show. You went on stage
You
and
could
stuff.
have closed out the show when you're in my face about this nigga who is running around here doing my shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to be like, oh, yeah, let her up. And I told you, I said, fuck it, gotta put her up because it's not that. I'm in competition with Young Tap. See, comedy, y'all make comedy competition. Y'all make comedy competition. I know it's a lot of people doing a lot of people's shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people doing a lot of people's shit, remixing shit, all that type of shit. And then when you say something to them, it's like, oh no, I don't know what you talking about, bitch. I don't do that. That's not, I didn't get that. Da-da-da. Like I'm fucking retarded or something. Like I can't see what's going on. I can't hear what's going on. I get phone calls, bro. Phone calls.
I felt bad for you, Tony. I'll be honest with you. The way you performed last night and the way that you just let all of that, you took all that to the stage when even if this was the case and this woman was stealing your jokes, you could have just went on stage. And that's why we have sets of jokes. And that's why we do the same jokes over and over again sometimes, because in those are the moments that we need to do it, because you got so much.
That's what I'm saying.
Hear me out, because
it turned out to be I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
I didn't say you was wrong or right. You called me messy. You called me messy, and I'm saying you should have just did your jokes because you went up before her anyway. And for me, if that was me and I was in that situation, I would have went up there and did all the jokes that I could do that person was stealing from me before they got on the stage, and then maybe talked about it. But Tony, you allowed it to bother you so much that it really affected your whole set last night. You are a hilarious comedian. We all know that. But this shit bent you out of shape and you went on before her.
Well, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? And when you throw a situation in my face like that, or off the years, shit gonna go left. Shit gonna go left. And I sat there and I said something to you, and you, like I said, you had no respect for me. Nah, you had no respect for me, Shawn. I would have never did that. It didn't matter. I would never did that. And I still said, fuck it, go ahead, let her go up. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then when she wasn't there, you still that's why I said you messy. Because you still let her go up after I went up. You still let her go on.
Yeah, because we still had more time.
And then you bring her up with all of this energy, yo. Put your hands in one of the bits and flying. You didn't even bring me up like that, Shawn.
Tony, I have to do that because the way you left the stage was crazy last night. We still had a show to perform. So I went into performance mode. So these people...
Okay, Shawn. Yeah, somebody do that shit to you. You know, well, maybe you're better than me. I don't know. I can't tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Tony, I've been in that situation. I just said I've been in that situation where comedians have got on stage and have told not the same joke, but the same similar premise, almost in the same style. And I said to you last night, I said, Tony, go a different direction. Then tell your jokes. I was telling you, I was sharing that with you before you got on stage. And another thing, when she walked into the room or you found out she was there, you found out about this guest spot, you came running to me, held me hostage for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and pleading your case. And I'm like, nigga, like, you a comedian. Why are you pleading your case to me? Go on stage and do your thing.
Oh my God. Shawn, stop trying to turn this shit around.
I'm not turning it around.
I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. I get exactly where you're coming from. She's doing my jokes. That's different. And let me tell you something. To be able to go on stage when motherfuckers is doing your shit verbatim, that's a problem to me. And then your response is, oh, well, just go a different way. That's messy to me, Shawn, because clearly you could have put up anybody else on the guest spot. Why her? You still can't answer that. You telling me, K-Swift gave her the guest spot. When I asked K-Swift, I asked him. So somebody lying. I asked K-Swift.
We gotta get K-Swift on the phone.
Get him on the phone.
But my whole thing is this. It's still like, it really, I was baffled. I was actually concerned. I was really concerned that you wasn't even going to go on stage. Like, it really was. I thought it was to that point.
Because you played in my face, Shawn. You playing there now. You really played in my face.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I know plenty of people who do that have a headliner spot, and then they'll say, "Oh, you know," because it's happened to me. It's happened to me. I come in the room. Oh, she can't get a guest spot. You know what I'm saying? I sit there and I just say, "Oh, okay, no problem," and keep it moving.
Now, Tony,
but you wanted her to go up. You wanted her to go up. Nah, Shawn, you wanted her to go up. You know what I'm saying? For whatever your messy.
No, I wasn't messy, Tony.
Trying to do.
I wasn't messy.
Was trying to do. Nah, the shit was messy.
It wasn't messy.
The shit was very messy
for you. It wasn't messy.
No, it was messy because you brought her up after me. After the headliner, you brought. You know what, Shawn? I can't, man. Okay. Y'all be doing too much, right. And I think that shit is unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have no HR to call, so we just gotta handle this shit. Ain't no HR department in this motherfucker, and it's making me look bad. I'm with my friend. I'm out with my friend. I come to the fucking show. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to go through all this bullshit about a guest spot.
And that's the one thing I did feel bad about that. I'll be honest with your friend. Like, you had someone come to the show and was like, maybe I'm assuming that's the first time, you know, this person was at this club, because I don't remember seeing it. And I felt bad about that because all the ruckus that happened after the show, it was embarrassing, especially for somebody who, you know, that you invited, that's around us for the first time, for all this to happen. And then the frustration, this was something, you know, and you know what this was to me throughout the last year. So
her set wasn't better than me. It had nothing to do with none of that. Her set wasn't better than me. She's not better than me. You know what I'm saying? I don't even look at that like that. I'm not comparing myself with her. I have more material. I'm much older. I have more of life. I could talk about whatever I want on stage.
So why you didn't do that last night?
At the end of the day, Shawn, that shit was just wrong, bro. That was just, to me, that shit was wrong. And you wouldn't let me do that shit to you. No way, no how.
Tony.
No way, no how.
Tony, hit me out. And this is some real shit I'm about to tell you. If I was in that situation and you put me in that situation, I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to perform and I'm going to rip the room. I don't care what it is. That's the way I look at it. That's the way this is, Tony. And this is something between you and Tef that's been brewing for the last year or so, and it wasn't talked out. You guys don't even speak to each other. Y'all can't even have a conversation about it. It was, you took my joke, I took this joke, whatever, and y'all just never talked about it. And the boiling point was last night. That's what this shit is really about. It ain't about me being messy. It's about the lack of communication. You know how many times, Tony, you know how many times.
I'm not, y'all, I'm not doing it.
Tony, you know how many times.
I'm not stepping to people. They doing it. People know what the fuck they do.
Tony.
And they want that type of attention. They know what's
so,
going
Tony,
on.
Let me ask you something. If a new comedian came on stage, and I've seen this 2 months ago, I was in Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn doing comedian a Sinks room, right? And there was a new jack comedian, female stud. She doesn't know anything about the game. It was 2 or 3 weeks performing. It was her second time. She was in the game for a couple of weeks. It was her second time performing. She knew nobody in the game. She was a stud like you. And Tony, she got on stage and started talking about her dildo. So sometimes with the joke, with studs and lesbian folks talking about a dildo, it's a general conversation. So my question to you, Tony, is this. So if a new comedian that you never heard of, never saw, you saw them on stage and they started talking about a dildo in their joke.
That's not, you missing the point.
I'm not missing the point. I understand what you're saying.
Listen, Shawn, I don't have to talk about a dildo. All right? That's not my point. You missing my point.
I'm not.
This girl is doing my fucking material. That's the whole fucking point. I seen her. I'd seen her do this shit. So I already know. I could have said something to her then. But I said, I'm not going to say shit because for what? All it's going to do is bring on a whole nother, it's going to fuel something else. So I already know. I know I'm a fighter. So instead of me stepping to her, because she already clearly know what she's doing. She clearly know what she's doing.
Welcome to the show.
And that's not why I come to do comedy. That's not why I come to do comedy. And last night to me was just disrespectful. It was disrespectful. That's why I said it was messy. And now I'm outside, because now she want to fight. Now we outside where she want to fucking put her hands on me. That's a problem to me. You don't know what I'm carrying, Shawn. You don't know what the fuck I got on me. I'm not going to let these motherfuckers in this game talk this shit, and I'm just supposed to sit there and fucking handle it. Nah. No. Everybody run around like they tough, they the baddest, they this and that. I'm telling you, somebody put their hands on me, they gonna have a problem. That's a problem. And when I come outside the club, she all, squaring up like, yo, I'm telling you, she would have had a problem last night.
It was unfortunate last night, the way that was sad. That was sad, the way
she went up there and talked her shit after me. She talked her shit. You know what I'm saying? So now you still mad. Now you want to come outside and try to put your hands on me? That's a problem.
See, the thing with that was, Tony, okay, I get the joke part of it. I hear what you're saying about the stealing of the joke. I hear you. But Tony, when you got on stage last night and started like going after her with the stealing of the jokes, right off the ripper, Tony, soon as you got on stage, you changed the whole narrative and the whole energy of the whole room. That's facts. When you got on stage, your energy and the things that you were saying directed to this young lady, I don't know if that's the vote.
How many times y'all go on stage and roast the fuck out of me, Shawn? So what the fuck did I do so differently?
No, Tony. Tony, you didn't roast her, Tony. You wasn't roasting her.
I did.
Tony,
I have the video, Shawn.
Tony, you was not roasting this chick. You was sharing how you was really feeling in the moment. You just shared that with me 10 minutes ago. You took your energy, the way you felt, disrespected or messy. You took all that to the stage, Tony. Now let's just keep that real, because the audience didn't know none of this was going on. That's why I said if you would have just went up there and did your joke, we wouldn't probably be having this conversation right now. Tony, you went up there and you incited this whole situation that led to almost a scuffle last night. You have a part to play in this, Tony. You had the mic to yourself. You could have did your joke. The crowd didn't know none of this. The crowd didn't know none of this, Tony. The crowd don't give a fuck about this.
I know, I get what you're saying, but Shawn, yo.
No, it ain't no Shawn, yo. You had to. Tony, that's why I said
I could have did a whole lot of different shit, right? And I came up, wasn't nobody ripping last night. Wasn't nobody fucking ripping last night, period. Nobody was ripping. You know how that room go. It's either a hit or it's not. You already know how that room is. So it wasn't like nobody was fucking ripping. Wasn't nobody ripping yesterday. Let's keep that 100. Wasn't nobody up there fucking ripping. So are we going to keep that 100 there?
So let's
by the time now, when I go up, all of this happens right before I go on stage. I'm not perfect, Shawn. Shit happens. But the shit that happened afterwards, with that shit right there, that was disrespectful.
Yeah, that was disrespectful. I agree with you. That was definitely disrespectful. That did not.
Stop coming at me with the whole,
yeah, but Tony, you see what I'm just telling the truth, Tony.
I'm in a million shows where people talk about fucking straight people. Men talk about dildos. Niggas talk about a whole lot of shit. I go up there and I still do me no matter what. I'll switch the shit up. I already know how to do that. But I'm not in that moment and that time, you know what I'm saying, was just not a good moment or time. Period.
So I think the learning lesson here, and it's for all of us, and it's for everyone that's listening. If we, at the moment, if we got a job to do, and we're flustered, and I understand that the emotions get in the way of what we do. Sometimes we got to sit back, even in our own feelings, and go, you know what? Honestly, I got a job to do. Let me do my job.
That's what he's saying. Like, I'm not supposed to call her out. I shouldn't have said nothing about that. No, I am going to say something about it. Because if you're still in my shit, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is where, and you come to the show that I'm headlining at,
So
I'm going to have something to say.
When you got on stage and you said what you said about Tef and the whole situation, it's weird. Words are powerful, Tony, and you know that. So all that you was projecting out there like that chick received it. That chick
Sean, I didn't do nothing. No, Sean, when I look at the video, I did nothing wrong because at that I said what I had to say about. I said what I had to say about the situation, and I moved on and started telling some jokes or whatever the case might be. But at the end of the day, Sean, y'all niggas roast me over and over. Yo, Stephanie, calm the fuck down. We having a conversation. She like, yo, let me get off this phone, yo. I'm done with this shit. Because y'all niggas be doing that. I'm done with this shit, man. I'm sick of this shit. Motherfucking, man. I'm sick of this shit, man. Y'all niggas always want to jump in and say shit. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all act like we cool, but then you get on fucking line. And now like, oh, can we move on to the next topic? Can we move on to, no, we talking about this shit right here.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, because I'm going to we're not staying on the show too long just today because I gotta travel. Tony, I want to move on real quick.
Yeah, let me go on my page. I'm gonna go on my page,
Tony,
and then I can express myself and say what the fuck I need to say.
Tony, I allowed you to talk. I've listened to everything that you said, and everyone is listening to you.
We ain't been talking about that. Okay, so what, Stephanie? And I'm not mad at you. You can say whatever the fuck you want. All I'm saying is that we had the situation happen last night, and we're talking about it. Yeah, and as a comedian, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like trying to put some more light to shit, you on here like, oh, can we move on to the next topic? Like I'm some old boring ass motherfucker. Nah.
Stop reading. First of all, Tony, stop reading the comments in the chat room. Now listen. Wait, stop reading the comments in the chat room. You and I talking. Now, Tony, in the beginning of this conversation, I said that I don't want our relationship.
You're always trying to come for me, yo. For your damn self.
Don't worry about the comments, Tony. You talk to me, Tony. Don't worry about the comments.
Man.
Tony, listen. I've known you for 13 years.
Yeah, right. I am sensitive. Yeah, I am sensitive. I'm sensitive.
Oh my God, Tony, leave the comments alone. Don't worry about it. You're talking to me.
Tony, go to the gym.
Tony,
go to the gym because
Tony, listen to me.
Y'all been on my nerves. It's too early in the morning. Y'all niggas trying to put my pressure up.
No, we don't want to do
this
that.
Bullshit.
Tony, listen to me. As per the beginning of this conversation that we talked about, I've known you for 13 years. I've known you when you came into the game, and for the folks who didn't hear our conversation in the beginning, I know that we've been through our ups and downs in our relationship. And we've been in a really good place in our relationship throughout, recent years. And Tony, I also want to talk to you in front of my audience to save our relationship. I love you to death. Did I have a part to play in that last night? I did. But Tony, you had a part to play in this. And Tef had a part. Everybody had a part to play in this. But Tony, I'm here to say this. No. Everybody had a part to play. You got on stage and you spazzed out on this chick and she reacted. But wait a minute. Tony, we've had a long-lasting relationship. We cool as fuck. I want to make sure, I hope and pray that we continue our relationship, because it seemed like in this game and even in life, and we talk about this on the show all the time, how fragile things can happen in a relationship and break up a relationship. You can call me messy, but I could call you insecure. I could call you all type. We could go back and forth with this. But my point for this conversation is and stop reading the comments, Tony. Stop reading the comments. We are not talking. is to continue our relationship. And I hope that that's something that you and I can achieve with this conversation after the fact. That
we can't even have a conversation because we have a conversation and other motherfuckers want to get in here and start putting their little 2 cent, 1 cent until it happens to them. Tony, then when it happens to them, oh, they can talk about the shit for 2, 3 hours. Tony, it's okay.
Tony, this has nothing to Tony, talk to me. Don't worry about the comments. Talk to me. I'm having a moment with you. And you worrying about what see, Tony, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. You see how you're focused on something. Now focus on what and then I'm telling you to focus, and I'm the one with the heavy ADHD. Don't worry about the comments, Tony. I'm here to let you know on my show that I value, even though shit went left last night. I'm gonna have to deal with this with the king and everything later on today. Things went left last night, but my relationship, my personal relationship with you is important to me. And I hope that we can continue. See, I'm a grown-ass, talking as a grown-ass man. I hope that we can continue our relationship while y'all sitting there studying it out. And you know what? For the people that are listening to the chat room, this is the second time that I seen two studs almost start the fight. And that shit was crazy. Sports bars all over the place. I don't know. It's crazy. Tony looked good. Tef looked good. And they were going at it. And I hope that you guys can resolve this at some point. If not, then it is what it is. My focus is retaining my relationship and maintaining my relationship with you. A young Tef, I have so much love for her and her lady. They mad cool with me. It's never been no disrespect. She's mad cool with me. I get that. And I got much love and respect for her. But you, Tony, we got a long lasting relationship with each other. And in this game, and even in life, these relationships are so fragile. So I'm here on this show in front of my audience on a Feel Good Friday. We're going to get out of here in a minute. I just hope and pray that we can keep the same relationship that we had. And that's all I got to say. But last night was crazy. And you're right. It shouldn't even have went to that level of you guys going outside and about the fight. And that was crazy. It would have been good.
I love y'all too.
I wouldn't mind seeing y'all roll on the floor though 1 second. That would have been dope.
It wouldn't be a fair fight, bro.
Hey, yo, Tony.
It wouldn't be a fair fight, bro. It wouldn't be a fair fight. Ain't nothing. All she could do is probably jump on me. She would have to jump on me, bro. But once I get my back up against some shit, that's a problem.
Let me tell you a little bit about the almost fight, guys. So the young Tef was out. She was outside. Young Tef, she was a stud of her words. She's like, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna beat Tony's ass. And she walked outside. So when she walked outside, K Swift, the DJ, runs over to me and goes, Shawn, yo, young Tef is going outside to fight Tony. Tony is gathering her personal belongings to walk outside. So I'm looking at Tony about to walk outside. Look outside the window of the club. I see young Tef out there all greased up, ready for a heavyweight fight. So I go to the door. I look at the security guard. We all know the security guard niggas. The niggas there every Thursday. I said, bro, come outside with me because this is I don't know what's going on here. So young Tef is outside, ready to duke him up. Tony walks outside and she charges Tony. And we all kind of got in the way. And then Tony was like, yo, I'm not messing with you. Tony tried to practice some restraint. Tony had a guest with her to place the person in the car. Tony got in the car. And we were all saying to Tony, just drive off, man. Just drive. I wasn't scared, nephew. We was like, Tony, just drive off. And then Tony got back out the car and was telling, young Tef, yo, don't mess with me, blah, blah, blah. And then Tony started to charge her. And then it was a lot of charging, but no touching. So
Nah, I didn't charge her one time. I walked in when I came outside, as I'm walking to the car, she didn't run, she walked. You know what I'm saying? But she was like, yo, put the bag down because I don't want to snuff you. Put the bag down. I'm looking at her like, what? So I made sure my friend got in the car, put the bag in her lap. I said, yeah, the bag down now. What? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now y'all outside. Now by this time, y'all outside. You understand? Now she want to do all of this, and hi, and I'm looking at her like, yo, bro, you really don't want none of this. You really don't want this. You really don't want this.
Yo, hey guys in the chat room, remember it is 12:15 in the morning last night. It's after midnight. You know, all this is going down. The club owner comes outside, and that's when I was very concerned. I'm concerned for both Tef and Tony, but the owner came outside. The owner came outside like, the hell's going on? Like the owner was like, these are the comedians beefing with each other. You went back in the club. Tony, I'm gonna let you go. And I hope that it's everybody. Let's give Tony a round of applause for sharing, man. Because she's gonna go on her live, she's gonna crucify me, and then I'm gonna go on her live, and we're gonna start beefing again. Because that's what's gonna happen here.
Lee said it was honorable for her to tell me to put the bag down.
But you know what? It was honorable. It's honor in studs, and I'll tell you why. Even in that moment, that tense moment when they was about to fight, Tony looked at the young lady that she was with and said, you open up the door for her and said, get in the car. She got in the car, closed the door, and Tony, for whatever reason, was ready to do whatever she wants. So there is.
And then my friend came back out the car. My friend came.
Hello?
Yeah, I mean, my friend came back out the car because she was ready to fight too at that point. Right, because she sat and watched the whole show. So she seen how Young Tef came behind me, said all she had to say, this, that, and the other. I ain't say nothing about it. I walked outside. Yeah, please have your money on me because yeah, I ain't no punk. It's like I told her, I said, I ain't no punk. But you put your hands on me, it's going to be a problem.
And let me tell you guys, the studs, the name calling was unbelievable with these studs. The name calling from Tef, the name calling from Tony. There's a whole new language with these studs. I think I want to start a movement. I want to bring you studs together because for some reason y'all love to fight and argue, man. Like
nobody is loving to fight and argue.
Yeah, studs, y'all studs like to fight and argue, bro. Your studs love to fight and y'all love to argue. And y'all need to. It's a bigger picture here. Y'all need to stop the bullshit.
Like y'all don't argue. Like straight people don't argue. And do all the rest of the shit that we do. Come on, you bugging, Shawn. Shawn, you bugging.
All right, listen, guys. We appreciate you. Tony, I love you to death. You know that. Me and Tony sat at a house music festival 2 weeks ago in Newark, just sitting there enjoying music and having a good time. And I hope that continues on. You call me messy, and I'll take that from you. And I'll call you not sensitive. I'm gonna call you ultra sensitive because that's what happened with you. So we'll cancel each other out with that. Tony, where can these folks find you? Because I know you're gonna talk crap, and while I'm driving down to the Maryland area, I'm going to be on your live, and I'm gonna talk shit with you. Tony, even though these folks they love you to death, but where can they find you, Tony?
Tony Bird Gang Comedy. I'm on all social platforms. Tony with an I, Bird with a Y, or Bird Gang Comedy. BYRD Bird Gang. BYRD Bird Gang Comedy.
Okay, let's try. All right, Tony, I'm gonna reach out to you after you talk shit on your live, and then we'll chop it up from there. All right.
I'm going to the gym first, and then I'll
Why are you going to the gym? Why are you doing all that? Because last night.
Shawn, I go to the gym every day. What's wrong with you, man? I'm trying to look like you, bro. I go to the gym every day.
You trying to look like me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my muscle game up.
Okay. Well,
no, I'll be on Instagram talking my shit. I don't know, somewhere about 11. I don't know, somewhere around there. If not that time, maybe around 3, 4, something to that effect. Yeah, I'll be on my shit talking about this shit. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Because this is something to talk about. But anyway, Shawn, thanks for having me on, man.
Tony, I love you, man, and I'm glad that we have. See, these are two adults having a conversation because it's important to me, and you're important to me. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation in front of everybody, because just to let you know that two grown ass folks can have a disagreement, and we had a disagreement last night, but we can move on from that.
Stephanie, come on.
What about Stephanie? What are we talking about?
No, she said, can she come on my live? I told her, come on.
All right, cool. All right. Tony, thank you. God bless.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, cool. Okay, so what we learn here? What we learn here? Huh? Harvey was messy. Okay, I was messy. I had a one stud going after the other, but I didn't know it was going to turn out this way. Tony was ultra sensitive, and young Steph was disrespectful. And I'm going to have that conversation with her because I got love for her as well. But what's the bigger picture with this? Oh, so yeah, Cindy's not here today, obviously, and Miss Miko. And God bless both of them. I hope they're okay, and we'll be back on Monday. But what we learned from this conversation, that we can kind of talk things out. Tony and young Tef, the comedian, y'all look her up. She's hilarious. I don't know if that relationship would ever be, I don't know. They never. I don't even think they had a relationship with each other. You got Auntie Stud and Nephew Stud fighting with each other. But what have we learned on a Feel Good Friday in real time? You see what I did? You see, I don't care. Y'all can laugh at me all you want to. You see what I did? I yielded down and said, you know what, Tony, my relationship with you is more important than what happened last night. I'm here, before I leave, I gotta go away. I'm here to, hey, Roma, wait, you wanted to talk real quick, right? Hold on, give me a second. You did call, but I couldn't cut you, add you into the call. I tell you what, let's talk to our beloved real quick before we get out of here. Put a number 1 chat room if you enjoyed the show today. Put a number 2 if you didn't. All right, everybody, it's our beloved on the phone before we leave. And I apologize, name Roma. I couldn't switch up on. But Ben, what's your thoughts on all? What's your
back in 2012, up here in Albany, I go to show, I used to do shows with music and stuff. So the next time I come to the show, I'm not in the show, but somebody's father I know was in the show, and we tried to do my same thing, but for 1 second, I got a little upset, but I didn't say nothing. I was cool. But then I realized, and my daughter helped me realize, it was a compliment. Anytime somebody understands your material, they don't have any, and it's a compliment. It had to be good if they want to get on stage and repeat it. They're not going to repeat no garbage. They're not going to repeat bomb. Yeah. So you take it as a compliment. It happened to professionals. So, it was sad to hear that it got so like that, because this is professional and this is a place of your business. So think twice before. Start some stuff on the side, Shawn, if you're going to start something. I was surprised at you. That's not even in your spirit. You're a professional. So you don't even start stuff up.
I didn't start anything up. I didn't start nothing.
Didn't you say you started?
I didn't start nothing. They went on stage. Tony was disagreed for young Tef to go on stage, and she got bent out of shit. I didn't start anything.
Oh, you didn't say you was being messy?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did say that. All right. Okay. I was being a little messy. You're right. Okay. I was being a little messy.
In your character, Shawn.
Come on, Auntie. Come on.
No, for real. You're very professional, but I'm saying, I know it happens, but anytime somebody steals, I just wanted people to know, comedians to know. If somebody steals your material, that's not nothing. That's from way back with comedians before us. It's a compliment. and take it as a compliment. Now, if you have a reach on the side, some other stuff, that's gonna come on. Gotta be something underneath besides they stealing your material, because I never said nothing to the guy. I laughed. I said, "Oh, that made me feel good. Take it as a compliment."
I don't think, you know what it is? And that's a fine line with the material, because Tony didn't say that. She wouldn't say the joke that she stole. I think what it is the subject matters with certain comedians. Yes, Coop big as hell. And he's costing more money per day. You might have to reevaluate his living situation in here. What it is, Nate Roman, you've done stand up. I don't think it's more the joke. I got to get out of here. I don't think it's more the joke per se. I think it's more of the subject matter. So you got a lot of comedians who are stud comedians throughout the country. They're gonna talk about dildo. This is not. I'm telling you, I've seen 20 comedians, gay comedians. They pull the dildo out. They got fans. They talk about how they use the dildo in the car, the glove compartment. They pull the dildo out their bag. So if a comedian does that and says that in a joke form, and another comedian goes, "Yeah, I got a dildo. That's a gay me. I got a dildo coming out my bag too." It's gonna cause conflict. But where's the stealing of the joke? It's not a joke. I could see Tony's right. I could see if the joke is verbatim. I could see that. He's right. I could see that. I could see if the joke is verbatim. I could see you doing the joke word for word for word. That's a different issue. It's a different issue. But I've seen thousands of, I'm gonna say thousands. I've seen a few stud comedians, even before Tony came into the game, talk about a dildo. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So these jokes are hacky. Hacky means, it's a simple joke, like it's something that you could simply talk about that covers a whole realm of subject matter. It's a hack joke. It's not like a personal joke, like something personal that happens to you when you put it in a joke form. But it's unfortunate that
take it as a compliment, and I don't know if it ever happened to her before. You know what I'm saying? Because once, if it happened to you before, would be a little more. You take it as a compliment.
Well, I tell you,
I can't stop people from stealing our stuff.
Right. I share my personal experience. So years back, a comedian, well-known comedian, was doing some of my tags. A tag is something that you say over and over again. That goes with the punchline. No, I'm just sharing that with the audience just because they don't know. A tag is a phrase or a word that you use over and over again after you tell the joke and you come back to it. It's a tag. So there's a particular tag that I do. I don't do it as much as I used to back in the day. But there was a comedian that was on the stage doing my tag while I was at the show. The moment the comedian got off the stage, I approached him and said, "Yo, bro, you know that's what I do." Blah, 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 blah. The comedian said, "Yo, my fault. My fault." I said, and it was just a brief conversation. And I know he got caught up in the moment. He probably saw me do the tag before because obviously he saw me do it before. So that's probably why he started doing it. Now, a comedian would do steal a joke or steal a tag so much that they don't realize that the original author is in the building because they do it so much. So I went over to him and I said, "Yo, bro, please, I do that. Don't blah, blah, blah." He said, "I got you." And I went on stage and I after him and did my tag. So sometimes I think with men, it's kind of more right to the point, like more matter of fact. And with some women, and I don't want to do the gender thing in there, but I'm just saying it's more emotional. I think it's an emotional thing. And I think that's what happened last night. Okay, yeah, was I a tad bit messy? It backfired on me because I didn't know that Tony was gonna go on stage and start doing her thing, and it was a hot mess. It really was. It really was a hot mess. It really was. And I did have a part to play. But I didn't know it was going to go
Right.
left like this. It went left anyway.
Yeah, I know. It would be more laughter because, man, from that experience I had, if somebody was to do that again, and I had to go up there, I'd be like, boy, I feel good. That's what I got to do. Somebody did my material for me already. Good, thank you. And y'all make a joke out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would make a joke out of it because that's how it is. I mean, sometimes you get sensitive. I was sensitive when the lady said, I'm talking loud, I ain't saying nothing, no, I ain't saying nothing. You know, it caught me off guard because I don't know the person, but the next time around, when they say it, so what? You got it right. Say whatever. You know what I mean?
And even in the chat, I see Young in us says DJs do it all the time as well. DJs that play the hottest track before the other DJ goes on to do another time slot. So there's a lot that's going on. Only thing I was saying to Tony was don't let that phase you. Go on stage, do your jokes. The crowd don't know none of this is happening. That's why it didn't make sense to me. The crowd knew none of this. Go up stage if she's doing your joke and you got an opportunity at a show to go on before her, if that was me, I'm doing all the jokes, all of them, every single. I'm a joke this chick out because they can't do it now. Now they can't do it. They can't do. They can't do. I would have did every. I would have doing the new jokes. I would have did the old. I would have did the same old joke twice that the comedian stole, so they can't get upstairs, get on stage and do it. That's what I would have did. The audience don't care about that. All right. Yep. Sis, God bless you.
And I gotta make one of your shows. I'm gonna see if my sister can get me there because I don't travel at night. They shoot on the L train and people acting crazy out here. I ain't got time. I'm too old. I'm trying to live for now.
Don't start that too old. Come outside. Stop. I'm too old. They come outside. All right, listen. Love you to death. All right.
Chat room. Have a blessed weekend. All right.
Put a number one if you enjoyed the chat room. I mean, if you enjoyed the show today, put a number two if you did. All right, listen. You guys be safe. What have we learned? What have we learned today? We learned a little forgiveness. We learned some accountability, right? We learned Stephanie, really at number two. We learned stuff. And Princess, let's give a shout out to Princess Cox No Pause, who's hilarious in the chat room. Stephanie's hilarious in the chat room this morning, and all the rest of you. Appreciate it. What we learned? What have I learned? I learned a lot last night. I learned one thing: if there's two studs on the show at the same time and I'm hosting the show, I'm putting both studs on the show. I don't care. Battle the studs. But they said, right? Like, don't they have stud comedy show? Battle the studs. Let them stud it out. Let's get studded out. Let the studs begin. Oh, over there. Look. All right, guys. We appreciate you. Okay, Senny wasn't able to do the show today, obviously, also Miko, but I didn't want to cancel the show, and I think we had a great show anyway. So, guys, you guys be safe. And your nephew is up there tripping on me. Listen, I'm not messy. I'm not. Prince is talking about I don't discriminate with the messiness. That knock it off. And wait, one more thing. Go Jets. Let me give you my picks for the day, guys. Hold on. Let me give you my picks. Then I say last night, put everything on. Hold on, guys. Hold on before I go. Because I gotta meet the student. Didn't I say yesterday's show? If you listen to yesterday's show, I said put all the money on the Orioles. The Orioles won the game. And what else did I say? Put the money on the New York Jets. And what happened last night? Even though San Francisco did beat us, let me tell you something. The Jets are going to win about 4 to 6 games straight. Dallas, my beloved nephew, you got a lot to talk about in this chat room, but your Dallas Cowboys are done. You're done. Finish. I want to say this to Prince Cox No Pause if he's still in the chat room. Look at me, brother. Pause. We're going to meet you in the Super Bowl. We're not finished with the 49ers. You got us on that first game Monday night out there in Lehigh Stadium out there in San Francisco. I got you. But the New York Jets, not only are we going to the not only going deep in the playoffs, we might go to the Super Bowl. And if we go to the Super Bowl, bro, and we meet you guys, it's a wrap. To my beloved nephew, Cowboys done. You're not even going to win 6 games this year. Let me give you my picks before I get out of here. Go Jets. Hold on. I gave you all the winning games yesterday. I'm going to put some money in your pockets. Okay? You all ready? We're going with the Orioles again. The Orioles play the Tigers tonight, right? The Orioles play the Tigers tonight. Put all the money on the Orioles. And put all the money on Dodgers. Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ching, ching. All right, guys, heading down to DC. You guys be blessed. Have a good day. Y'all be safe this weekend. We see you guys on Monday. You know, Shawn Harvey Morning Show, Wake Up Team, SennyJ, and Miss Miko. Only place on earth where you get your morning started, right? Where the heart's at in the chat room. Guys, have a blessed day. We see you guys on Monday. Steph, hit me up, man, so we can chop it up. You guys be safe and God bless.